Hello and welcome to this special Winter Olympics preview coming to you on King 5. Plus, the Winter Games in Milan Cortina now just 100 days away. Hello everyone, I'm Chris Egan. King 5 TV will be the only station, I repeat, the only station from the Pacific Northwest on the ground at the Games, bringing you stories about local athletes, local connections, and the big wins and losses. In the Paris Olympics, we had over 50 athletes with ties to the state of Washington competing. That number will be down at the Winter Games, but we still have plenty of athletes to root for. The Pacific Northwest has a rich tradition of sending speed skaters to the Games. Apollo Ono, J.R. Selski, Casey Boudier, and Aaron Tran, just some of the big names that competed in the Olympics and grew up in the state of Washington. Earlier this year, I traveled to the U.S. Speed Skating headquarters in Kearns, Utah, to meet 4 athletes from our state with Olympic dreams. Federway's Corin Stoddard is one of the top short track speed skaters on the planet. She made the Olympics in 2022, and in 24, she brought home 3 medals at the World Championships. Stoddard kept rolling in 2025.
I was medaling like every final I was in. I got my first gold. I got 9 individual medals. That was an insane experience. The rush of finally winning, it was just the best feeling I've ever had in my life. And doing that at a World Cup and then imagining myself doing it at the Olympics, I can't even imagine what that would feel like.
One of Stoddard's teammates, Bellevue's Eunice Lee, grabbed the 5th and final Olympic spot in 22.
Definitely very unexpected. I was so grateful for the experience.
Since 2022, Eunice has battled through injuries. The Newport High alum is bouncing back from a left ankle injury. But she says she's healthy and excited about the chance to return to the biggest sports stage in the world.
I think it's just everything that I could ever dream of. Last Olympic trials, it wasn't even really something that I could even hope for, just because I did not think I had a shot.
Not go in so tight and so deep.
But then this time I think building up to this trials, having prepared more so than last time.
On the men's side, Federway's Marcus Howard is trying to make his first Olympic team. Howard was inspired from a young age by 3-time Olympian and 3-time Olympic medalist J.R. Selski, who also grew up in Federway. What do you think J.R. taught you the most that you still carry with you to this day?
Just going for it, I guess. Go out and give it your all and fail, instead of keeping it in reserves. From all his Olympics experience and racing experience, it's more of make sure if you want to win, leave nothing out.
That's how you approach it now, day in, day out.
Yeah,
right?
man, I just rip long distance races and hope for the best.
There you go, nice and symmetrical.
On the long track team, Kirkland's Cooper McLeod is peaking at the right time. In 2025, he won 2 medals at the World Championships and helped the U.S. set a world record in the team sprint event. In 22, he missed out on making the Olympic team by just a couple hundredths of a second. What would it mean to make that Olympic team?
It would be amazing. Coming to a pinnacle in the journey, and it's doing what you want to do when you were a kid. It's a realization of a dream you've had for a long time. It would just mean everything.
Super Cooper McLeod from Kirkland, but also tells me he spent a lot of time growing up in the Skagit Valley area. Well, the U.S. Olympic trials for long track, they will take place January 2nd through the 5th in Wisconsin. The Olympic short track team expected to be announced in early December. Eunice's little sister, Grace, is also trying to make the team. So there could be 5 athletes from our state on the U.S. Olympic speed skating team. Now, obviously the main difference between short and long track is the distance, but they also use different skates. When I traveled to Kearns, I spent some time with Shane Domer, the high performance director for Team USA speed skating, and he showed me the big differences between the two skates.
So short track blade, the big difference between that and a long track is it's fixed. So if you look at the blade itself, it does not move. It's anchored in, and these athletes are going around these turns, these corners at such a speed in which such like a small radius that they need something very rigid so they can control the blade and control their body around that turn. So that's what is really effective in short track. Whereas long track, if you look at long track blades, they have a hinging mechanism on. And the hinging mechanism allows them to push a little bit more and get a little bit more push into the ice per stroke, which in 1998 made the difference between a medal winner and someone who was off the podium when this technology came out. So
Diameters and those things?
Very tiny. They're very thin, and we're looking at, I think it's 1 millimeter thickness, and we're looking at 90-degree angles as far as the two edges. So there's an edge on one side and the other. The athletes use these edges to control how they're pushing and actually to put the force into the ice. So they're actually not on that centerpiece very often. They're kind of controlling the edges on both sides. So yes, this and this is very specific to the athlete. You know, on these blades, they have such a feel. So if this thing's off by 1/1000th of an inch, they'll feel it.
Pretty cool stuff right there. There's going to be a lot of action to watch on the oval, and hopefully a lot of athletes from the state of Washington competing. And much more to come on our Olympic streaming special when we return. Welcome back to King 5 Plus. I'm Chris Egan. Well, we are here to celebrate 100 days to the Winter Games. Athletes continue to train, hoping to wear gold at one of the biggest sporting events on the planet. Jake Wittenberg has that story.
Near her home in Colorado, the greatest alpine ski racer in history, Michaela Schifrin, is focused.
Gym time, strength and conditioning.
On being ready for the greatest sporting event on the planet and racing at the 2026 Winter Olympics in Cortina, Italy.
This has the chance to be a really exciting Olympics, especially in alpine, because it is the environment we're more used to.
While across the country at the Skating Club of Boston, the strongest U.S. figure skating team in decades is getting ready as well with the men's world champion Ilya Melman.
The right amount of training, the right amount of mental focus and physical, just in that zone, getting ready before the Olympics, just go there and to try to skate my best to win that gold medal.
Women's world champion Alyssa Liu.
I am really excited for it because it's the biggest stage that you really get.
And world champion pair skaters Evan Bates and Madison Chalk.
We definitely want to shoot for the gold medal in the individual event as well. We feel like that's something that has been at the top of our goal list for a long, long time.
All looking to represent Team USA at the Olympics just 100 days from now.
We're all just a team of athletes who represent Team USA.
Where Italy has two host cities, Milan will see the opening ceremony in San Siro Stadium.
We will kick off our Olympic Games with this incredible event, the opening ceremony. And this iconic place will give us the chance to tell our story.
With figure skating just down the road, while the Dolomite Mountains of Cortina will host women's alpine ski racing on a course.
In this area we will have all the setting for the Olympics, so the grandstand.
Where Michaela Schifrin has won before.
This will be my first Olympics, going to a place that is slightly familiar.
She's now working on adding 2 Olympic gold medals to her resume. Racing at her 4th Olympics just 100 days from now.
It feels big. It feels really exciting.
Some talented athletes right there, and there are more athletes to keep an eye on. I'll have the details on that. Plus, I'll share some fun moments from some past Olympic Games, and Brianna Vasquez will join us with Kraken goaltender Philipp Grubauer, who will play for Team Germany at the Olympics. We'll have that story when we return.
Buongiorno.
Opera is the most important contribution of Italian culture.
We want the athletes to be at the center of our ceremony.
The slope itself is very technical with a lot of speed.
All the athletes of the world, 93 countries, to be able to come here, have the experience of their life.
The Cathedral of Milano is the symbol of the city. thrilled to host the world coming to pay us a visit.
Pretty awesome stuff right there. I did see one pizza in that video right there, and yours truly is going to be going after those pizzas. Welcome back to our Winter Games preview coming on King 5 Plus. The opening ceremony set for February 6th, closing ceremony on the 22nd. The Olympic torch relay will begin on November 26th in Greece. There will be athletes from 85 countries competing in these games. The Olympics will feature 116 medal events in 16 disciplines. That's an increase of 7 medal events from 2022. New medal events will include men's and women's dual moguls and freestyle skiing, the return of men's and women's doubles in luge, men's and women's team alpine combined, women's large hill ski jumping, and mixed relay team in skeleton. So some new events on the way. Some big storylines. We've talked about it already. Mikaela Shiffrin will look to reclaim glory. Another big story, NHL players are back. For the first time since 2014, NHL stars are returning to the Olympics. Seattle Kraken have several players that could make Olympic teams, like Capo Caco, Matty Beniers, Joey Decourt. Philip Grubauer is the only one on the team officially on an Olympic roster right now. He'll compete for Germany, and he went one-on-one with our own Brianna Vasquez.
So we're 100 days out from the Olympics. How are you feeling being able to be in the Olympics for the first time?
Yeah, obviously a dream come true. I mean, back in the day in Germany, we didn't see much NHL hockey, so for us it was always like Olympics and being able to see like guys from the NHL. It's amazing that we get to go. I still probably can't believe it till we actually sit on the plane and going to Milano. But yeah, obviously it's great. It's close to my hometown. I have a bunch of like family come down and drive down from Germany, so it's going to be awesome to represent Germany, and yeah, that's awesome.
And what was your reaction when you first found out you made the preliminary roster?
Yeah, amazing. They gave us a heads up kind of like after World Championships there, so I knew for a little bit. Obviously we don't have too many guys in the NHL, so 6-7 guys, so we know we're going to be on the team, but it's still like far away, right? We have a goal in here we got to reach, and then it's still a lot of hockey left to play here before we make it to the Olympics, so you got to stay healthy as well.
And how do you prepare for something like the Olympics when you're in the middle of a season?
Not any different than for a game. I think it's in everybody's back of a mind here who's going to be able to go, but it's not going to change anything or like how we approach the year here. We have a goal here, and like that's our main job, and the Olympics are a plus on top of that, but it's only for a couple of games there. So yeah, just practice hard here and play games here and then go to the Olympics.
And then you've obviously represented Germany before World Teams, but what does it mean to represent Germany on this stage?
Yeah, obviously biggest stage. It's a huge honor. Like, we don't get to put on a national team jersey a lot of times, so it's definitely a dream come true, and really excited for that opportunity.
Well, Seattle also now has a professional women's hockey team, and Hillary Knight is on that team. Hillary Knight helped Team USA win gold in South Korea. She also helped them win 3 silver medals. This will be her 5th Olympic Games. Well, besides hockey and speed skaters, we also have a cross-country skier, Novi McKay from Winthrop, trying to make her 2nd U.S. Olympic team. Alpine skiers, Breezy Johnson, Katie Hensian, who grew up training at Crystal Mountain, and Jackie Wiles, who trained at White Pass, all trying to make a very talented U.S. team. And we also have several curlers that train at the Granite Curling Club, so there's a nice mix at these Winter Games. Also new to the games, Jake Wittenberg from the King 5 Morning Show is excited to be headed to the Winter Games.
Can't believe it. I can't begin to tell you what a dream come true this is for me as a journalist. Ever since I've gotten into this business, I've wanted to cover an Olympics. And I've never been to Italy either, so this is a double whammy. Non vedo l'ora arrivi a Milano a seguirli all'Olimpiadi. I basically said I am beyond excited to cover all the athletes and all that the Olympics has to offer. I've really got to work on my Italian. Chris Egan and I are going to cover all of our local athletes in hockey, skiing, ice skating, and the new sport making a debut in Milan, ski mountaineering, which I'm super excited to see. Not to mention, we're going to be covering the flavor of the games. What goes on behind the scenes in these Italian communities on the world stage? How do these host cities handle the Olympics? Will I get to hang out with Snoop Dogg? These are the important questions we're working through now 100 days out. Stay tuned for all of our stories behind the scenes and on the world stage from Milan Cortina, Italy come February. The first Olympic Games to have dual host cities, by the way. The countdown is on, 100 days until we go on this unforgettable journey together. For now, ciao.
Jake, thank you very much. I'll answer one of his questions. No, you will not be able to hang out with Snoop Dogg. I apologize. There's still more to come at the 100-day celebration continues. After the break, we'll head to Milan, and I'll bring you some Olympic memories. But first, here's NBC Olympics host Mike Tirico on the host cities.
I think the organizers have a unique challenge here, but you've got that Milan European classic city feel to it that'll have all those indoor events. And then the outdoor events, since it does not snow in Milan, Italy, but every 3 or 4 years, they go to the Alps, to the Dolomites in Italy, to those places like Cortina and Livigno and Borneo that are known for hosting international sports and some of the best runs and tracks in the world. So the combination is unique. It's pretty cool. Cortina has a Winter Olympic history as well. So all of it together with a little Italian style and maybe a dish of pasta along the way. I think we have the right mix for 17 fun nights.
This is the Duomo, or the Milan Cathedral, the seat of the Archbishop of Milan. It's famous for its collection of 4,000 statues, gargoyles, and figures, and it will be the primary location of our broadcast from Italy in February. Absolutely gorgeous right there. Well,
Now, this is the third time Italy hosts the Winter Olympics, but it's a first for the city of Milan, which is famous for fashion, design, some iconic buildings like the Duomo Cathedral here, but not for winter sports because it rarely snows here. And that's why this will be the first Winter Olympics, which will be co-hosted by two cities, Milan and Cortina and the surrounding area, which is up on the mountains, about a 4.5-hour drive from here, making this one of the most, if not the most, geographically widespread Winter Olympics of all time. This is not the only first for these Winter Olympics. There's also a new sport, that is sky mountaineering. If you don't know what that is, don't worry, neither did I. Well, that is a sport where athletes climb a mountain with the skis on their back and then they ski downhill. It was also an uphill struggle for organizers to make sure everything is ready in time for February, but now they say, siamo pronti. That's Italian for we are ready. Claudio Lavanga, NBC News, Milan.
Well, it's not quite the Duomo, but inline skaters in the Pacific Northwest may say that Patterson's West is close to being the Duomo. Some greats have trained there. J.R. Selski, Aaron Tran, who could forget Casey Boudier when he was a youngster there? And let's also not forget Marcus Howard and Corinne Stoddard have also trained at the amazing Patterson's West. Along Highway 99 and Federal Way, you'll find some of the fastest inline skaters in the world at Patterson's West.
There we go. Now you look like a speed skater.
Over the past 4 decades, Team Extreme has won hundreds of national titles and produced several Olympians.
It makes me pretty proud.
Mike Patterson started up the rink in 1979, and now his son Darren is in the family business as well.
The skating rink environment in the area is very strong, so there was a lot of skaters around. So the local competitions were always very strong, and that just, the numbers rose and the talent came from that. And in time, we just kind of built a tradition and a foundation of winning, and the athletes just kind of followed from there.
3-time Olympian Casey Boudier, the legend Apollo Ono, 3-time Olympian Joey Mantilla, Aaron Tran, and 3-time Olympic medalist J.R. Selski. They all trained right here at Patterson's West.
My roots, where I learned how to skate, blood, sweat, and tears, ups and downs, and it's really my foundation in the sport of speed skating.
It's a hotbed for skaters that became an Olympic breeding ground.
The facility is amazing.
Team Extreme coach Miguel Jose.
The Patterson family has done a really good job over the years of bringing kids through that facility. And once you create an environment where you have so many good people, the numbers aspect really helps carry, right? So you get 10, 20 kids that are ultra competitive. It's just hard not to create the next, Apollo or JR. It just happens.
And Corey Stoddard just happens to be next in line.
Everyone who ends up skating there become to their fullest potential. I feel like some teams, they do a lot of drills, but not like a lot of racing. And at our practices, it was always racing. And that's the whole point of the sport, is racing. The more racing experience you get, the more you learn and the better you get. Amazing how many great athletes train there at Patterson's West. Some great stuff. We've also had some great time covering the Olympics over the years. I'll take you back to 2016. That was one of the first games that I had the pleasure to cover in Rio. Tough to top the beaches in Brazil. It was also special to cover these games for swimming. Michael Phelps, Ryan Murphy, Nathan Adrian, you see there on the screen, Katie Ledecky, all putting on a show. There's myself sitting down with Adrian, a 5-time Olympic gold medalist. Phelps won 5 gold medals in Rio alone. I also remember in Rio getting a front row seat to watch Team USA, Sue Bird, winning another gold medal on the basketball court. That was also the first Olympic Games for Brianna Stewart right there. Fun stuff there. It's always fun at the Olympics to rub elbows with some big stars. There's myself with Lester Holt having some fun. Enjoyed some ice cream, by the way, in South Korea with Mike Tirico. Speaking of South Korea, I did remember having some fun there. Seahawks winning the Super Bowl. Number 1 on my list, but I had 3 days in South Korea where they won 3 straight gold medals. Keegan Randall won a gold. Team USA Women's Hockey won a gold. And then the curling team won a gold. Hopefully more gold in Italy, 100 days away. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on this King 5 Plus Winter Olympic Special.